Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's webinar, Power BI, Unlocking the Full Potential of Your Data. I am Ria from SpringPeople, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. We're really excited to have you all join us. Today's webinar is focused on taking a practical approach to Power BI, how you can turn raw data into meaningful insights, create dashboards that actually tell a story, and make smarter, data driven business decisions. Whether you are new to Power BI or already working with data, there will be valuable takeaways you can apply right away. We are delighted to be joined by Mr. Amit Goyal. Mr. Amit is a seasoned analytics and business intelligence professional with over 13 years of experience across industries such as telecom, finance, supply chain, retail, and staffing. He is a Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst and a Tableau certified trainer, known for simplifying complex concepts and making them easy to understand and apply. He has trained professionals at global organizations including EY, Sapient, Ericsson, Yokohama, Sun Life, Max Life, Qualcomm, ZS, and several Fortune 500 companies. Mr. Amit also creates highly rated online courses, always bringing real world scenarios into his sessions. Before we begin, a quick housekeeping note. If you have any questions during the session, please type them into the question box and Amit will address them during the Q&A segment at the end. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Mr. Amit.
So hi all. So in this session today, we will be going through how Power BI is something which is changing how we are analyzing the data in the real-time scenario. So now all of you, when we talk about Power BI, right? So I'm sure, right? Power BI, when we talk about, is a tool which is something which we use to convert all the raw data into the form of charts and graphs. Now, when we talk about creating the charts and graphs, so it's not something that we straightforward bring the data and we start doing the analysis on top of it. So there are multiple stages that are revolved around it. So right, like if I ask you, right, would you like to think of some scenarios, okay, where you feel that you are using visualizations for your day-to-day analysis? Power BI is a tool, is something all of you which we use to convert data into the form of charts and graphs. And charts are something which are not new to us, right? Charts are something which we have been using since our the school days. Also in the school also we used to have certain chapters around statistics and all, where we used to create different type of visualizations. Now when we talk about data analysis, the first process of that is data collection. Now in every organization today, right, what is happening is data is something which we are generating in multiple formats or sources. Data can be coming in the form of spreadsheets. Data could be coming from databases. And nowadays, since we all are into the cloud world, a lot of data is something which we store on the cloud applications also. Now, if you have to create some centralized reporting, so first of all, you have to make sure you collect the data from these different sources. Now, once you have collected the data, you will be spending the time on processing of the data, right? When I say processing, you can clean the data. You might have to do some, when I say clean like removing blank columns or some other bits of, or maybe duplicates. Once you process the data, then after that what we do is we do the data analysis, right? Then what we do is we use that data for generating insights out of it, right? Maybe I want to understand the trend, I want to understand which category, which product is giving me the highest sales, right? So we have to apply different techniques, and finally we present those things into the form of visualizations, and our report is created. So now this entire process that we are talking over here, right? Collecting the data, data analysis, data processing, visualization. Is it a one-time process or a repetitive process? Yes. So is it going to be a repetitive process or a one-time process? Now see, this is something which is going to be a continuous process. Now every day some new data will be added. You will have to make sure you clean that data, create an analysis, and convert them into the visualizations. So in this entire process is what we call it as BI, right? Business intelligence. Now BI is not something new. This is something we all have been using it in the organizations for years and years. It's just that over a period of time, this implementation of BI has become much more straightforward and simplified. Now, when we talk about data visualizations, all of you, the benefits that data visualization provide us is because you can unlock, the different patterns from the data. Okay, you can also, when when the data is shown in the form of visualization, it helps you narrate a story kind of a thing, which can ultimately help you in better decision making. So data visualization is all about converting your data into the form of charts and graphs so that you can take some actionable insights using and enhance and narrate a clear story to the end user. So end user over here becomes your stakeholder. Okay. Now, like if I give you some examples, right? Like when you talk about big retail stores, like Sainsbury's, Tesco, right? These are certain stores which are heavily dependent on these kind of reports to understand where they need more inventory, where they need to restock, right? What is the traffic flow and everything. For all those things, they rely heavily on these data visualization practices. And Power BI, which is a flagship product from Microsoft, is something which has made all these things super easy. This is one tool which you will find that it is very much similar the way we use Excel. Okay, so you can do all the kind of things over here. You can clean the data, right? You can create visualizations, you can do data modeling. So all sort of things is what you can very easily do in Power BI. Now, similar to Power BI, there are a lot of other tools also. We have Tableau, we have MicroStrategy, we have SAP BO, we have SAS. So there are hundreds of tools which are available in the market, which we use for the BI process. Now, if you will ask me as per current market trend, Tableau and Power BI are the tools which I see are most used in the organization because of their simplicity and no code, the softwares that they are. And over a period of time, the percentage share of Tableau has definitely gone down and Power BI has increased. Reason being, it's a product of Microsoft. The cost is low, easy to use, and people are, very much anyhow well versed with the applications of Microsoft, and it has very good integration also with all the applications of Microsoft. Okay, so the reason, so if you see over here, seamless integration, you have user friendly interface, cost effective, right? Like if you compare the cost, Tableau is something which costs you almost like $70 per month per user. Power BI costs you just like $14 per month per user. And plus, you can also have real time insights, right? As your data refreshes, you will notice your reports will show you the latest data. So you are always up to date on what is happening into your business. Now, when we talk about Power BI, everyone, Power BI is something which is made from, which has total three components: Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, and Power BI Mobile. Now, to understand this thing, I'll show you the complete architecture over here. Now, everyone, this is an important slide to understand. So, if you're to start working with Power BI, you need to have a Power BI Desktop application to be installed. Okay, this is a free application. You don't have to pay a single penny for this. Anyone to everyone can download this onto their machine, and you can download this thing from your the Microsoft store, or you can go to the website of Power BI and you can do a free download of this application. And right now this application is only available for Windows operating system. If anyone is using Mac or any other operating system, Power BI Desktop cannot be installed over there. Now, this tool, this is something which you can connect to different data sources. If your data is in SQL, it's in Snowflake, your data is sitting on some big data, Hadoop kind of thing, Excel file, Salesforce, like the CRMs, you name the source, Power BI is something which you can connect it to almost any data source that is available. And you will bring all the data cleaning, data modeling, data visualization, all the activities are done over here on this Power BI desktop. Okay, so your complete development of the reports, they are going to happen on this application. Now, once you have built a report, okay, your report is ready. So what do you think will be your next step, right? So once your report is ready, definitely you would want that report to be shared with the end users or the stakeholders. To share that report, you have to buy a license of Power BI service. Okay, now that licensing cost that I was talking about, that comes for Power BI service. Now, Power BI service, for this is like a cloud-based application. You can assume it like, hey, the way you use Google Drive, OneDrive. So you upload the files on Google Drive and share the link of that file with the end users. Similar is the concept of Power BI service. You report you have created, that will be published, or you can say uploaded over here, and through this platform you can share this report with the multiple people. But yes, the people with whom you share this report, they should also have a Power BI service license with them. Once you have shared this report, end users can see that report on their mobile phone, on their tablet, or on their PCs. In fact, these reports can also be seen on your smartwatch. Okay, so I hope this architecture is clear to all of you. So you have to install Power BI desktop application, right? Build the report, publish it, and then that report can be accessed by different people on their different gadgets. Now, overall, all of you, Power BI is something which is made from three components. One is Power Query, then you have Power Pivot, and you have Power View. So these are the three main components of Power BI which we use over here. Now Power Query is something which will help you in data cleaning. Power Pivot is something which will help you in data modeling. And Power View is something which helps you in visualizations. Now, interesting part is that these components are available in Excel also. So what Microsoft did was it simply picked up these different components, optimized them, right? And made a new tool altogether, which is Power BI. So if anyone has used Power Query or the Power Pivot or Power View in Excel, you will find the same concepts is there in Power BI. And if you learn in Power BI, you can also try them and implement the same thing in your Excel, which will actually be a lot of time saver for all of you. Okay. So having said that, so now what we will do is we will jump to the tool and we will see the things practically. Now in this session, everyone, so I'm going to use a data set, which is this. Let's have a understanding around the data. So if you will see over here, what data we have is we have the data of a UK bank customers. So I have got some file from my client, right? They are basically into banking into UK. And in this file, they have sent me this data that, okay, this is the customer ID, the name of the customer, gender of the customer, what is the age of the customer, region, what job classification is, what type of job that customer does, when did he join the bank, and how much balance he has in his account. Now, if this is the data that I have with me, okay, and now using this data, they are saying that they want a report to be created which can help them get some interesting insights out of it. So if you all take a look on the data, first of all, just try to understand, okay, any issues that you see in this data as of now, and do you all understand the data over here, everyone? Yep. So the data that we have is, so we can see that we have the customer ID, name, surname, and all, and we have the date joint, and this is how the data is what we have in this. So what we will do is we will be loading this data into the Power BI, and first of all cleaning this data, because you can see there are some blank rows, right? There are some blank columns. So this data needs a little bit of a cleaning, and then we will consume this data to basically do some analysis on top of it. So let's launch Power BI. So see, if you want to install it now, if you go to store, so if you go to Microsoft Store, so in that you just simply type this up, Power BI desktop. You can easily install this application from here, right? You just have to click on get and it will be installed. So I'll launch. So I already have this Power BI installed on my system. So I launch this application. So when you open this Power BI application for the first time, this is how the interface will look like. And we just have to click over here on blank report. So if I click on blank report, a blank Power BI report will be opened up for me. So when you open any of this, the Power BI desktop report, so you will see at the top, you have a ribbon. Okay, this ribbon you will find very much similar the way you see the ribbon in your Excel, PowerPoint, or Word. In the center, you have the canvas. This is the canvas basically from where this is the place where you will be building the charts. And on the right hand side, you can see different charts that are available. All the different charts that you can create, you will see the complete list of that on the right hand side. Now, the first thing, if I have to start working and using it up, the first thing that I have to do is I have to load the data, right? The data that I had shown you, which was in a CSV file. This data that I had shown you was in a CSV file. If I would like to now load this data, so you have to click over here on get data. So get data, if you click on, you will see the list of different data sources to which your Power BI can be connected. So if your data is in Excel workbook, it's in some SQL server, text file, web, I mean, whatever is the data source, if you click on more, so clicking on more will give you the complete list of data sources. Okay, so you just think of the data source, you will find a connector of that already installed in the Power BI. In our case, since we are using a text file, so I'll click on text.csv and click on connect. Then I just need to go to that path wherever that file is placed and I can pick that file. So when you pick that file, you will see a connection to that CSV file is created, and this is how the data will be loaded. And now this is something which we have already identified that, hey, in the data, there will be some issues, there will be some blank row, blank columns. So there is some cleaning that needs to be done. So before I load the data, so what I'll do in this case is I'll click on transform data. So now when you click on transform data, a new window will open up, which is Power Query Editor. See, if you remember in the slides, I have shown you that there are three components of Power BI: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. So data cleaning is something which is done with the help of Power Query Editor. Now in the Power Query Editor, everyone, what I will do is you will see at the top there are multiple options to clean this. Now since we are interested in removing the rows, we have to clean up the rows. So if I click over here on remove rows, I will say remove top rows, because see, if you see over here, top rows means the first and second row I have to remove. So I will say remove top two rows and click on OK. Once I do that, the first two rows have been removed, and you will notice a step is added that okay, you have loaded the data and then you have removed some rows. And the reason this step is added over here, all of you, is like if tomorrow you refresh the data, Power BI will do the same cleaning again, right? It will say, okay, load the data and remove the top two rows. Now, what is the other issue? If you can identify, so you will notice the headers are something which are not coming fine. So basically this particular row should be used as a header. So what will I do in this case is I'm going to just click over here on use first row as header. So if I click on this, first row will be converted to a header. And now you can see the data has been properly sorted. And once the data is cleaned, and plus see, there is still one column which is blank. So I'll select this column, and you have an option of remove columns. So once you select the column and you say remove columns, the column will be removed. Once the column has been removed, I just have to click on close and apply. So close and apply, what this will do is this will load the clean data that we have now. So clean data will be loaded in the Power BI. Okay. Now once the data is loaded, so on the right hand side, this is where you will see a data pane. Okay, this is the data pane. And if you click on the data pane, you will see all the field names. Whatever fields we had in that data set, you will be able to see all the field names. And if you come to the left side, so this is called as report view, the view which we are currently in. And if you click on the second option, this is called as table view. Now table view is something where you will be able to see the data, right? The data that you have loaded, you will be able to have a view of the data. See this in this window, you cannot make any changes. You cannot clean the data here. This is just for the viewing purpose. And at the top, if I go back to my report view, now this is where I'm going to create some charts and visualizations to generate insights out of it. Okay, now you will see the fields, all of you. On the fields, everyone, you will see at certain fields there is a summation sign that is coming. The summation sign indicates that these fields are numeric. And if you see over here, the a small calendar icon, that means this field has been loaded as a date field. And wherever you do not have any icon, that means that's a proper text data. Now in this, I'm going to create my first chart, which is going to be simply a pie chart. See, I just want to understand how many male and female customers do I have. So you click on the chart, the empty structure of this chart will come up. Once you click on the chart, this empty box comes. And when this empty box comes, at the bottom, you will see some options will be highlighted like legend and values. So these are the options that come for this particular chart. The chart that you selected. Now this is where we actually drag and drop the fields. Now pie chart, all of you we know, right? Something which we use for market share. Right? This is something which we use to show percentage of the data, right? What percentage of customers are male, what female. This is where we use pie chart. Now in the pie chart, we have an option of legend. Legend means color coding. Like every slice in the pie chart has a different color. So if I drag gender on the legend, and what values do I want to calculate? I want to see the count of customer ID. So if you drag customer ID in the values, this is where you will see your pie chart is free. So we can see dark blue is representing male, light blue is female, and we can identify yes, male customers are a little high as compared to female. Now once you make the chart, what I can do is over here we will see there's an option of formatting. So if I click over here on formatting, so you will see the formatting options will come up. See, whenever we make a report, we also have to make sure the report looks aesthetically nice. So what I'll do is when you come to the formatting options, you will see there are multiple formatting options which PA provides you. And the formatting options are broken into two parts, visual and general. Visual means these are chart specific formatting options, and general means these options will be same for every chart. Like in this case, if I come over here in the visual legend, I want to keep the legend in the bottom center. Okay. If you come to the general, like Power BI automatically writes a title for the chart. If I click on title, I can say, okay, I would like to have a title over here, which is total customers by gender. I can make that as bold, increase the font size, and you can add some background color and text color. Now see the formatting option, all the formattings that you will do, you will technically have to do these formattings for only one chart. On the other charts, you will be simply replicating these options on top of it. And plus I will also apply some effects. Like when I say effects like a visual border and a shadow effect. So this is where you will see this chart has been created. Now similarly, if I want to add a second chart, I would like to create, say suppose, a map, or maybe I want to do some regional analysis. Now for regional analysis, you can create a map also if you want. Okay, so if you come over here in the map, so this is where the map is, and now in the map what I can do is, you will see the option of location and other stuff. So I say location, I will put region in the location. Okay, now all of you would have this map is something which is an online visual. Okay, so it sends the data out of your system. So that's where before you create a map, you have to do some settings. Like this is just for the map visual. Okay, because whatever locations you plot, what it does is it sends the data to the Bing server to generate latitudes and longitudes of those locations. So this is where if I change the settings, you just have, and settings have to be changed one time. I click on file, options and settings, and I click on options. So you have to just come to the options window, and there you will see there is an option of security. Under security, if you scroll down, you have to check this option of use map and field maps. Okay, once you do that, you will have to just save this file for once, and you have to reopen this file. Okay, once I've saved this, so I'll just reopen this file. It's just reloading the data and update the charts. Now see, if you see right now the map that we had created, this time it gets created because I've changed the settings. I reopen the file, and then we have 4 locations in the data. All of you, once you made the chart, you have this option of focus mode, which comes on every chart. If I say focus mode, I can see the chart on the full screen mode, and I would like to understand from each region how many customers do I have. So if I scroll down, there's an option of bubble size. So if you drag customer ID on the bubble size, you will notice bigger bubble means more customers, smaller bubble means less customers. So a visual is something, you have to be careful that when we pick any visuals, you have to make sure you pick the right visual for the right analysis, because that's how an end user will be able to quickly identify or do the analysis. And now if you see the kind of formatting that I did on the previous chart, I want the same chart should also have borders, it should have the effects and all. So you select the previous chart, you will see there's an option of format painter. If I click on format painter, I come back to this chart, click over here. Now both the charts look exactly same in look at. So we have done 2 analysis, gender analysis and geographical analysis. So we can understand highest number of customers are from the region which is England. If I want to add third chart, now if I want to add a chart over here in which I would like to showcase, say for example, if I come up, I want to understand how many customers do we have of different age. So if I add a column chart over here, I will put age on the x-axis. See, because when you make a column chart, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. I'm going to put age on the x-axis, customer ID on the y-axis, and you will see a column chart comes up where we can identify how many customers we have of each age, right? For a particular age, how many customers does the bank have? So can you think through and identify within which age bracket does the bank has highest number of customers? What is that age bracket? Yes. So if you will see, basically by looking at this chart, we can identify that okay, between 30 to 40, we have highest number of customers, right? The bars are the highest. But there can be a better way of showing this insights, right? What I can do is, instead of showing each age, if I try to show it how many customers we have in the age of 15 to 20, 20 to 25, that will be a better insight. So if I right click on the age and if I say I want to add a new group, then over here I just have to define the bin size, right? So basically grouping is something where we will create the groups. Like I want a group of 5. Okay, bin size defined the group on the numeric field, which I will define as 5. This way, what will now happen? A new field will be created, which is like age bins. I can remove the age from here, and instead I can bring age bins. So if I remove the age and I bring age bins, so now we will see that, hey, the chart looks much better now, right? Analysis still remains the same. Highest number of customers are between age of 30 to 40, and as the age is increasing, the number of customers are less. And when we talk about young age, the number of customers are again less. So bank has a lot of potential to gain more customers from these two, the age groups. And when we talk about middle age group, yes, the bank is doing really good in terms of that. Likewise, we can also add some tree map. Like I want to understand whether the bank has more customers doing a white collar job or a blue collar job or other categories. We have a column of job classification. So if I pick a tree map, see what is tree map? Tree map is something which shows the output in the form of boxes. Bigger the box, higher the value, smaller the box, lower the value. So in this case, I am going to bring job classification on the category and customer ID count on the values. And here we see this tree map is created. You can see the most of the customers who are partnered with the bank are doing a white collar job and other categories are the lowest. Okay. Now, likewise, if you want in the report, everyone, what we can do is we can add some card visuals. Now, card is something which we use. Like if I add a card, I just want to show overall age, right? Card is something which we use to show one single value. So by default, it is giving me sum of age. Now, definitely sum of age is something which we do not represent anywhere. If you click on the little arrow, I can change it to average. Okay, the average age of a customer in a bank is 38. You can copy the visual. If I remove the age, I can put balance in that. And if I change it to average, so it will show me average balance. So if you see over here, what we have done is we have shown average age, average balance as a quick card, as a indicator for the bank to understand these two metrics. You can also show total customers. If you come over here, I will say, okay, let me show total customers that the bank has. So I can drag customer ID, right? So we get a count of customer ID. You can see these are the total customers the bank has with them. Now, once this report has been created, I can also put a nice title over here. So if I come over here on the text box at the top, I will write UK Bank Customer Segmentation. I can make it bold, and the title for this report is something which I can adjust it at the top, because every report should have a main title and then every chart should have a subtitle kind of a thing through which we can understand what we are trying to represent in it. And then once you have made the report, everyone, so if you click over here on view, you can apply different themes as well, right? You can apply different themes to change the overall look and feel of the reports, because as I said, building report is not just a technical part, it is also a little bit of a creative stuff where you have to make sure the reports look nice and interesting when they are shared with the multiple end users. Now this is where we have seen a small demonstration how we are building the report. Okay, now once the report has been created, now definitely you would like to share this report with the end users. Now to share the report with the end users, you need to have a Power BI service account. Like I already have it. So when you install Power BI, by default, you will not be signed in. So if you click on sign in, and you need to use your official email ID. I mean, uh, email ID which has a company domain to it, right? You cannot use your Gmail IDs in order to uh, kind of create your Power BI service account. And although if you have a ID with you, you can also try. Microsoft also gives you a 60 days of free trial for this. So if I log in with my account, I just have to sign in once. It will just take a few seconds and it will be logged in. Okay, now you can see my name is coming up over here. That means I'm logged in with my account. I just need to save this file. Okay, we will save this. And when you come to the home tab, over here you have a publish option. So if you click on publish, so you will get a dialog box like this. This is where you can create some different folders on your account, and by default you will see you get one folder which is my workspace. When you have a new account, you will see my workspace as a folder which is automatically created on your Power BI service. If I click on select, now in that particular folder this file is going to be published. Yep. So you can see the report has been published. If I click on this link, so now this report is going to open in the browser. Okay, now this is where you see I've been taken to my Power BI account once I've properly logged in, and we can see this report over here. Now this report, whatever report we had created, this has been published onto the Power BI service account, and through this platform, if I just click over here on share button, I just have to put the email address of that person. If I say I want to share it with user one, now see this Power BI service get automatically synced up with your Office 365 account. All the email IDs will be pulled up. And if I click on send, now this person will receive an email that, hey, Amit has shared a report with you. And if you will click on that link, that person will be able to see the report. Provided that person should also have a Power BI service account with them. Okay, so this is how you basically share the report. So overall, what we have seen is like we built a report and then finally we have shared it also. And in this report, we saw different type of visualizations. We have seen how do we clean the data. And on top of it, like if you want to, certain times it can happen that within your data, you want to do some calculations also, right? If you come to your data, feel like you have the balance, but you want to calculate the interest. So in Power BI, you have all the mechanisms where you can add new columns also based on your requirement. Suppose I would like to add a column of interest. So you simply have to define the calculation that interest is 0.1 multiplied by balance. That means whatever is the balance, 10% I want to give out of it as an interest to the end user. So you can see a column of interest has been added. Okay, and then this column that you have added. So now see whatever fields you add in the Power BI, they will remain in Power BI only. They are not going to be added in your original data source. And you can see this field has a different icon to help you understand that this was calculated within Power BI. Okay, so this is where if you will now notice, so this new field we have added, and if you want to consume it, that okay, I want to create a card in which I would also like to show average interest that we have paid. I can use that field and I'll change it to average. So we can see that number also, that this is the average interest that a person is getting through their accounts. I can save this file, and if you will publish this file again, all of you, it will replace the previous file, and the people who already had that link, they will see the latest report in that case. Now there are a lot of other things that we can do. We can set up automatic refresh of, right? Automatic refresh as in every day Power BI will automatically refresh the data for you. You can apply row level securities if you want a certain person should see only restricted data. So there is a lot of other stuff that we can do on top of it. So this is where I'll take a pause, right? I would like to open the room for you guys to for any Q&A, any questions if you have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amit, for that insightful and engaging session. It was packed with practical tips, real world examples, and actionable insights that I'm sure our audience can start using immediately. For those of you who would like to go deeper, we invite you to explore our virtual instructor LED training programs available on springpeople.com. These sessions are live, flexible, and you can even request private or customized batches. If you prefer learning at your own pace, we also offer comprehensive self paced courses. For more details, please feel free to reach out to us at training@springpeople.com or contact us using the number displayed on your screen. Now let's move on to the Q&A segment. Over to you, Mr. Amit.
Yes, Sunil, I think you have raised your hand. Can you unmute Sunil? Just once again, I'm just, yes, you can please unmute yourself. Hello. Yep, Sunil, I think I'm you with right.
Hi, Mr. Amit. We have just received a. They have asked that if we add more rows to the Excel, will it update in shared report view?
So see, for that, what we have to do is we have to set up a automatic refresh of it. Like what will now happen is this report that I have created. Now in that CSV file, suppose if you add some new customers over here, you added the data of new customers. Okay. Now in the Power BI desktop, what you have to do is you have to click on refresh. Now when you click on refresh, it is going to hit that CSV file again and bring all the latest data. If there were new rows that were added, those new rows will be uploaded or added over here. Okay, now this refresh that I have shown you, this is something which is happening over here manually. I have to do it manually this time. But in case you want automatic refresh, that is something which we do on the Power BI service. Now, if you go over here in the Power BI service, okay, over here, what you can do is the data that you have published. So if you go back to the my workspace, so there is a complete understanding which is done, right, which we have to understand, but it's fairly simple. You get an option of schedule refresh. So when you say schedule refresh over here, in this you can set up the time that okay, every day at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., my data should automatically refresh. Then there will be no manual intervention that will be required. Power BI desktop, Power BI service will automatically hit your machine at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 7 o'clock and will take away the latest data, and reports will keep on getting updated on a regular basis. Okay. Any other question if you have, all of you, let me know.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Amit. Thank you so much for the session today. I hope today's session helped clear your doubts and provided you with practical takeaways. You can use it in your work. To everyone who joined us today, thank you so much for your time and participation. The session recording will be shared shortly with you on your registered email ID. Before you leave, we request you to please share your feedback. It truly helps us improve and deliver even better sessions in the future. On behalf of Team Spring People, thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure hosting you, and we look forward to welcoming you at our next expert webinar. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks for